Why will the U.S. State Department accuse China of information manipulation, while U.S. own the largest media cooperation in the world, like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and more? Why is the U.S. afraid of China's rise around the world? It is pivotal to shed light on the recent disputes and accusations swirling around the global media landscape, epitomizing the tension between two significant world powers, the United States and China. Recently, China vociferously dubbed the United States as an empire of lies, retaliating against a U.S. State Department report that unveiled Beijing's massive investment in information manipulation initiatives across the globe. As concerned global citizens, we must diligently scrutinize these claims, dissecting the truth from embellishment and reality from fabrication. For the purposes of today's discussion, our focus shall be meticulously placed on the current Biden administration and its role within this contentious framework of information and truth. Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. Now, let's begin. To begin, it is imperative to acknowledge that the realm of information has become a battleground. Here, nations not only fight for dominance but also strive to sculpt the global perception and narrative that suits their national interest. The Biden administration, like its predecessors, is actively engaged in this subtle yet significant war, wielding the sword of information with varying degrees of responsibility and recklessness. The U.S. State Department report accuses China of manipulating global media through a strategic triad: censorship, data harvesting, and the covert acquisition of foreign news outlets. However, it is crucial for us to reflect with a degree of honest introspection whether the United States under President Biden's leadership is free from employing similar tactics and strategies to sway the global narrative in its favor. One can't help but ponder on the myriad ways the United States, historically and presently, has invested in information dissemination mechanisms that not only bolster its image but also subtly undermine the images of its perceived adversaries. This phenomenon isn't novel. It has been a long-standing practice, subtly metamorphosing with each administration, adapting to the contemporary challenges and opportunities of its time. The Biden administration is no exception to this rule. Despite championing the cause of truth, transparency, and democracy, there have been instances where the administration has arguably fallen short of these noble ideals, inadvertently contributing to the empire of lies narrative. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. In our quest for truth and understanding, let us delve deeper into the ways in which the information narrative has been influenced, or arguably manipulated, by the current United States government. It's essential to approach this with a critical mind and a fair perspective, understanding that the realm of information is complex and multifaceted. Firstly, we must address the administration's handling of social media and online platforms, which have become the epicenter of modern communication and information dissemination. The Biden administration has been vocal in its critique of misinformation online. However, there have been claims suggesting an overreach in its efforts to curb the spread of misinformation, potentially stifling free speech and expression in the process. This delicate balance between preventing misinformation and upholding freedom of expression is critical in maintaining a robust democratic society. It is essential to acknowledge that while the administration attempts to navigate through this precarious balance, accusations of selective censorship have emerged. Critics argue that the White House may exert subtle pressure on social media giants to suppress or downplay information deemed harmful or contradictory to its policies and narratives. Whether through direct communication or indirect influence, the dynamic interplay between the government and these tech behemoths raises valid concerns regarding transparency and the true independence of these platforms. Moreover, the global narrative spun by various media outlets within the United States often mirrors the administration's viewpoints, subtly molding public opinion both domestically and internationally. While media independence is a cornerstone of a free society, the symbiotic relationship between the government and media giants cannot be overlooked. It's imperative to question the extent to which this relationship influences the objectivity and impartiality of the information disseminated to the public. In tandem with this, we must critically analyze the framing of international issues by the United States. The Biden administration has presented itself as a defender of human rights and democracy, rightfully condemning atrocities and undemocratic practices worldwide. However, there have been instances where critics argue the administration selectively highlights or downplays issues based on their strategic interests. This selectivity inadvertently contributes to a skewed global narrative, potentially misinforming the public regarding the gravity or triviality of certain international events. The framing and narrative surrounding China is a poignant example of this dynamic. With tensions escalating between the two nations, the information war intensifies. While it is undeniable that there are valid concerns and criticisms regarding China's practices, it is crucial to approach these with a nuanced and balanced perspective, devoid of unwarranted exaggeration or oversimplification. The empire of lie counter-narrative voiced by China reflects the deep mistrust and information chasm existing between the two nations, requiring diligent examination and critique from all global citizens concerned with truth and transparency. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. Let's turn our gaze towards the significant and powerful machinery that is the U.S. government's public relations and communication strategy under President Biden's administration. This is a critical aspect, often operating subtly in the background, yet instrumental in shaping not only domestic but also international perceptions and understandings. Amidst the cascading narratives and counter-narratives, a salient point of critique directed towards the Biden administration is the alleged inconsistencies in messaging, particularly on crucial issues of national and international importance, can sow seeds of confusion and mistrust amongst the public and the global community. Being consistent and transparent in communication is fundamental to building and maintaining trust, and any deviation from this principle is often met with skepticism and apprehension. For instance, consider the administration's stance and messaging regarding the ongoing global health crisis precipitated by the COVID-19 pandemic. While the commitment to science and public health is evident, critics argue there have been moments of contradiction and lack of clarity in the guidelines and policies communicated to the public. Such inconsistencies not only create confusion but also provide fodder for misinformation and conspiracy theories to thrive, inadvertently contributing to the empire of lies. Furthermore, we must examine the administration's approach towards international relations and diplomacy. While projecting an image of cooperation and multilateralism, the Biden administration has also been accused of unilaterally advancing U.S. interests without adequate consultation or consideration for its international partners and allies. This approach, critics argue, creates an atmosphere of uncertainty and instability in the international arena, as nations grapple with the unpredictability and inconsistencies in U.S. foreign policy. In the delicate dance of international diplomacy, words and narratives matter immensely. The language used, the stories told, and the images projected all play a pivotal role in shaping global perceptions and understanding. In this context, accusations of employing double standards and selective outrage over human rights violations and democratic principles worldwide have been directed towards the administration. These critics argue that such an approach undermines the credibility and moral authority of the United States on the global stage. A case in point is the U.S. approach towards different nations in the Middle East. Critics observe a varying degree of responsiveness and engagement with human rights violations and authoritarian practices in the region. They argue that the U.S. response is often determined not by a consistent application of principles, but rather by the strategic interests and alliances that the United States maintains with specific countries in the region. We've now delved deeper into the complex dynamics of information manipulation, looking critically at the communication strategies and international relations approach of the Biden administration. However, our exploration is not complete. There are still more layers to uncover, more nuances to understand, and more critiques to consider. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.